Gap as far as where the ball's at. You have to understand where we expect the ball carrier to hit it. We expect the ball carrier in tight zone to run up the crack of the center. It could be a little bit wider of the center. It could be a little bit behind the center, but this is a general area we're expecting the ball carrier to hit. Nobody's allowed to be in that area unless you've got upfield movement. Uncovered. Uncovered means there's nobody in our gap. So we are running the ball to the left. So our center has nobody in his gap. Our right tackle has nobody in his gap. Again, we're running 4-12. So now this means we're covered. We're running to the left. Our left tackle has somebody in his gap, so he's covered. Same thing for the left guard. He's covered. And our right guard is covered because there's somebody in his gap. So uncovered or covered. Clusters. Talk about who it is we're working with. We're running tight zone versus an even front. Generally, the play side tackle is on his own. Sometimes he's working with a tight end. The play side guard and center are working together in a cluster, and the backside guard and backside tackle are working together in a cluster. We name these clusters basic terms. So a play side guard center cluster in tight zone is called a SIG, C-I-G. There's both a C and a G in it, and the I means that it is an inside type of run. On the backside guard tackle cluster is called a sting. All of our backside clusters begin with the letter S. There's a T and a G in this for a tackling guard, and also an I for being an inside play. So again, our clusters, tight zone with the play side guard center is called a SIG, and the backside guard and backside tackle is called a sting. Now, there's a couple different ways those doubles can be run. So if we run a zone double, that means that the cluster's working together, that the guy that they're working to is not in between them. So we've got a 3 technique here. They're working to the left. He's not in between the guys in the cluster. This is called a cage. You could call it a SIG, or you could call it a cage. When you're out there communicating, it's a matter of this is a little bit more descriptive. The SIG can also hide our terminology. On the backside, again, this is a sting, but because it's a zone double, because he's not in between us, we would call that a stranger. You call that a sting or a stranger. If you want to get more descriptive, you call it a stranger. ID. When their center ID is the mic in tight zone, it's the furthest backer in the box of the front side. So this is the furthest backer in the box of the front side. That's who we declare. If for some reason we had backer 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you declare the furthest backer in the box, which would be backer 1. But this is the only backer, so the center would come up in this situation. He would come up. You would say even for the front. You would say SIG to this linebacker. If you wanted to get more descriptive, you could say even cage to this linebacker. The backside guard and backside tackle work to the next backer back, and here they would say sting to this linebacker. If they want to get more descriptive, they would say stranger to this linebacker. Versus a 3 technique. Go through the whole thing again. Okay. Already understood gap. We already understood uncovered. We already talked about covered. We talked about the clusters. Okay. We talked about the ID. Okay. So if we're breaking all this thing down, we also talked about where the back's going. So this here is 413. So the center would come up here. You would say SIG to backer 1. The backside guard and backside tackle would say sting to backer number 2, or whatever their jersey number is, and the play side tackle is going to run a displace, and the ball is going up the crack of the center. So if we work this left to right, main thing here by the left tackle, okay, because the ball's going here, we've already won by alignment. We don't have to get wide on this thing. So what we're going to try to do is we're just talking about displacing. We want to take our play side hand and put it in the middle of his chest. We want to take our backside hand and put it in his armpit. We want to keep our eyes and inside leverage on the guy. And all we have to do here is create a stalemate, always understanding that this guy, once you're trying to displace him, he's going to try to fall back inside. So you have to be strong with your right hand and keep him from coming inside. The play side guard center, like we already said, they're running the SIG here. The ball's going up the center's crack. Now, when we're running the SIG, the guard has inside help with the slant, but that doesn't mean that we want to run way out here. Because the ball's going inside, the play side guard wants to go right through the inside eye of the play side guard. His left hand should be in the middle of the chest. His right hand should be up into the armpit, and he should be looking to displace. If this guy falls back inside, then fine, he has help. If not, then he can just displace him. The worst thing you can do here on a SIG by the play side guard or a cage is to go wide. Now the center's got to stay under hip, and the play side linebacker can play underneath it. So you're at the play side guard. First step, set your hips. Get your second step in the grounds. Uppercut. Fight to keep your eyes to the inside, because, again, this defender is going to try to fall back to the inside. Our center, when he is running the SIG or the cage, his first step, he's expecting something to slant into his gap. If something shows, he takes it. If nothing shows, he wants to retrace back to the inside number of the declared linebacker. If we drift, this guy's going to play back underneath because, again, the ball carrier is going here. So when we step, we want to retrace to keep leverage on the initial landmark where the back's going. On the backside, we're running the sting to this linebacker. We already know the bell's going here. So our backside guard here is behind the play. So that means he has to win on the front side. So his first step is to set his hips, and he has to get his helmet to the front side. His helmet goes front side. His second step is going to go middle of the cross. He's an uppercut with his backside hand. So we want to gain ground into this and uppercut. Our backside tackle is going to step over the pipe, get his hip set, and then we want to crush this. If there's any color there, we're going to clean it and climb. If there's no color, there's nothing showing, now we can climb. But again, uncovered linemen when we're running zone doubles should always be expecting the guy to go into their gap. So their backside guard here, he wins. That's what we want. We want to give color so the backside tackle can clean and climb. As the tackle climbs, now it's understanding again. The ball is right here on the hash. That's right about where the back should be going. So we're getting past that spot. Our tackle's right on the guy, so this is our landmark. So in this situation here, if we're reading it, that's the quarterback's job to read it and pull it. Or it'd be running a team concept like 4-13 and having a guy block here on the backside somehow. One more time without me talking. 4-13. Okay, so in this look here, we are running, I believe we're running 4-12. So in 4-12, again, we've got the gap because we're going to the right. We understand the ball's going into this gap, into that area. We talked about uncovered, which would be the center and backside tackle because there's nobody in the gap. Play side tackle, play side guard, backside guard are covered up. The clusters are play side tackle, play side guard and center, backside guard, backside tackle. And the ID is the furthest backer in the box, which is this guy. So if we're looking at our right tackle, his job's to be to displace. We need to get his right hand in the middle of the chest. His left hand isn't bad here. One thing we talk about is if this guy's standing up, we'll jump set him like we would do in pass pro. We want to get into that defender and get him. You don't have to get him way off the spot, but you always got to understand this guy's going to try to play back inside. The only thing I'd say here is need to do a better job with the right hand. Our play side guard, it's a tight 3 technique. So all he has to do is pick up his foot and put it down because the ball's going here to get his eye right through that inside eye. Uppercut it, keep your eyes to the inside so you can see right here. We got one stripe. We want our stripe inside of his stripe. So our stripe's inside of his. We got to be able to keep that leverage and understand he's going to try to fall back in. So you got to have a strong inside arm again. Our center is too wide here. Need a better snap as well. But one step, if we see no color, it should be one hand and climb and retrace to the inside number because, again, we're running the ball right up the hash based on your initial alignment.